Imagine holding the reins of the most powerful empire in the world while keeping a calm and clear mind. Marcus Aurelius did just that, using Stoicism not only to manage an empire, but to master his own mind. What if you could do the same? Develop a rational, resilient mind to face modern challenges? Stick around because today, we're diving into 9 transformative lessons from Marcus Aurelius that will sharpen your thinking and help you navigate life with clarity and wisdom. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor from 161 to 180 AD, was one of the most famous Stoic philosophers. Despite the immense power he wielded, he chose to live with fairness and justice, resisting the temptations and indulgences of his status. During his reign, Aurelius penned a series of personal writings, now known as meditations, that have become pillars of Stoic philosophy. In these writings, Aurelius offers guidance on how to improve oneself through rational thinking, discipline, and perspective. Today we'll explore 9 profound lessons from Marcus Aurelius that can help you develop a rational mind and live a life of purpose and peace. Section 1. Train your perception. What if I told you that nothing, absolutely nothing, can harm you unless you allow it to? This is the first lesson Marcus Aurelius teaches us. You have full control over your perception of the world. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." This simple yet powerful statement highlights the core of Stoic thought. Your perception shapes your reality. We spend so much time assigning labels to our experiences, good, bad, boring, exciting, that we don't realize how much energy we're expending on judgments. For example, think of the last time you labeled an interaction as awful or a party as boring. In doing so, you framed the entire experience in a negative light. What if instead you reframed that boring party as an opportunity to meet new people or try something different? Suddenly, the experience isn't a waste. It's just a new kind of adventure. The Stoics encourage us to let go of these automatic judgments. Ask yourself, is my interpretation of this situation rational? Am I letting my emotions skew my perception? One exercise you can try is turning the obstacle upside down, a challenge the Stoics embraced. When faced with adversity, don't see it as a roadblock. Instead, view it as an opportunity for growth. Let's say a colleague is underperforming, affecting the team's output. Instead of frustration, see it as a chance to improve your leadership skills, exercise patience, and become a better team player. By training your perception, you realize that harm is often self-inflicted. The next time you feel harmed by an experience, pause and question whether the harm is real or just a product of your mind's first instinct. Now that you've started to master your perception, it's time to learn how to control something even more volatile, your emotions. Section 2. Learn to control your emotions. Emotions, anger, fear, anxiety, can derail the most rational of minds. But what if you could harness those emotions and use them to your advantage? According to Marcus Aurelius, stop letting your emotions override what your mind tells you. Emotions are fleeting and often irrational, but they have a powerful influence on our decisions. To think clearly, you must learn to control your emotions. However, control does not mean suppression. Pretending you don't feel anger or anxiety doesn't make those emotions go away. Instead, Aurelius suggests redirecting your emotions. Let's take anger as an example. You might be tempted to lash out at someone who has wronged you, but does that action serve any purpose? Does it improve the situation? Often, the answer is no. Instead, redirect that anger into something productive. Use it as fuel for positive action, whether it's having a calm conversation, journaling, or engaging in physical exercise. Fear is another emotion that can paralyze us. But fear can also be a tool for growth. Rather than seeing fear as a barrier, use it as a guide to push your boundaries. Let's say you're afraid of asking for a raise. That fear can help you prepare for potential challenges, rehearsing possible objections your boss might raise. By using your fear constructively, you turn anxiety into a motivator for success. When you learn to channel emotions instead of letting them control you, you unlock a powerful tool for rational decision-making. Your emotions no longer cloud your judgment. they become a source of clarity. With emotions under control, the next step is mastering what you can and cannot control in life. Section 3. Exercise the dichotomy of control. Imagine how much mental space you would free up if you stopped worrying about things you can't control. The Stoics call this the dichotomy of control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The dichotomy of control is about recognizing the boundary between what you can control and what you cannot. For example, you can't control the weather, but you can control how you dress for it. You can't control traffic, but you can control when you leave for work. Understanding this distinction frees you from unnecessary stress and worry. Once you internalize this idea, life becomes much simpler. Let's take an example. You've been rejected for a job you really wanted. If you dwell on the rejection, you're focusing on something outside your control. But if you reflect on the reasons behind the rejection, perhaps you lacked a certain skill. You can now control your response by learning that skill for future opportunities. The Stoics also advocate for amor fati, which means loving fate. Embrace the outcomes of life, no matter what they are, because they are beyond your control. If you focus only on what's within your power, you'll find strength and peace in every situation. Now that you know how to manage control, it's time to explore the virtues that can guide your actions through every situation. Section 4. Embody virtue. What if I told you that there's a compass within you that can guide every decision, every action, and every thought? That compass is virtue. For Marcus Aurelius, living a virtuous life was at the heart of his philosophy. He believed that embodying virtues like wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance led to a fulfilling and rational life. These virtues aren't abstract. They are practical tools for living well. Wisdom helps you see situations clearly and make thoughtful decisions. Justice ensures you act fairly toward others. Courage allows you to face adversity without fear. Temperance helps you find balance and avoid excess. For example, think about wisdom in your daily life. When faced with a difficult decision, wisdom helps you evaluate the situation objectively and make choices based on logic, not emotion. When dealing with others, justice reminds you to treat them with fairness, even if emotions are running high. Courage, in turn, empowers you to take action even when the outcome is uncertain. And finally, temperance encourages you to live moderately, avoiding extremes in all areas of life. By embodying these virtues, you create a mental framework that allows you to navigate life with clarity and purpose. Every decision becomes simpler because you have a set of guiding principles to rely on. Next, let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture, the wide-angle perspective that can transform your thinking. Section 5. Adopt a broader perspective. When was the last time you zoomed out and saw the big picture? Sometimes all it takes to clear your mind is a broader perspective. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the vastness of the universe and how small his individual problems seemed in comparison. He wrote, "Whenever you want to talk about people, it's best to take a bird's-eye view and see everything all at once. This shift in perspective is vital for mental clarity. Imagine you're stressed about a decision at work. In the moment, it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. But when you zoom out and see your life in the context of the entire world, let alone the vast universe, suddenly, that decision seems far less overwhelming. This perspective also helps you consider other people's viewpoints. It reminds you that everyone experiences the world differently, and their experiences are just as valid as yours. This broader understanding fosters empathy and helps you approach challenges with an open mind. By taking a step back and seeing the world in its entirety, you free yourself from the small, immediate concerns that can cloud your judgment. You gain a sense of peace, knowing that your problems are just a tiny part of a much larger whole. Next, we'll explore how embracing change is the secret to thriving in an ever-evolving world. Section 6. Embrace change and impermanence. Have you ever resisted change, only to find that the more you fight it, the more it controls you? Marcus Aurelius believed that change is not just inevitable, it is essential for growth. One of the core principles of Stoicism is to embrace the transient nature of life. Aurelius wrote, "Observe always that everything is the result of change, and get used to thinking that there is nothing nature loves so well as to change existing forms and to make new ones like them." This lesson teaches us that resisting change is like resisting life itself. Think about the times in your life when unexpected change hit, whether it was losing a job, moving to a new city, or ending a relationship. In the moment, these changes can feel overwhelming and undesirable, but the Stoic approach is to recognize that change is neither good nor bad, it is neutral. What makes change positive or negative is how we react to it. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that every transformation brings new opportunities. When we learn to accept change, we become adaptable, resilient, and open to the lessons that come with it. Life, after all, is in constant motion. The seasons change, people grow older, economies fluctuate, and our bodies evolve. Fighting this natural rhythm only brings anxiety and frustration. Embracing it, however, brings peace and even excitement for what's to come. Now that you've learned how to embrace change, let's explore one of the most powerful tools for success in Stoicism, self-discipline. Section 7. Cultivate self-discipline. What's the secret to becoming your best self? According to Marcus Aurelius, the answer lies in self-discipline, the cornerstone of personal growth and success. Aurelius believed that true freedom comes not from doing whatever we please, but from mastering ourselves. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, he wrote. Therefore, guard accordingly and take care that you entertain no notions unsuitable to virtue and reasonable nature. Self-discipline isn't about denying yourself pleasures or becoming rigid. Rather, it's about setting boundaries that allow you to live in alignment with your values and long-term goals. For the Stoics, this discipline applied to all areas of life: physical health, mental clarity, emotional control, and even social interactions. It's the force that keeps you on track when distractions and temptations arise. In our modern world, filled with endless distractions, cultivating self-discipline has become more important than ever. Whether it's avoiding procrastination, limiting social media, or managing your finances, self-discipline is the tool that keeps you focused on what truly matters. For example, let's say you want to develop a habit of regular exercise. At first, your mind might resist, offering excuses like being too tired or too busy. But with self-discipline, you push past these temporary discomforts, focusing instead on the long-term benefits: better health, more energy, and increased confidence. Self-discipline is not just about saying no to temptations, it's about saying yes to the things that will help you grow. When you consistently choose actions that align with your higher self, you experience a sense of control and fulfillment that no temporary pleasure can match. As Marcus Aurelius might have put it, self-discipline allows you to stand tall and unshaken in the face of life's trials. It empowers you to live with purpose, stay true to your principles, and navigate challenges with grace. With self-discipline in hand, let's now delve into one of the most profound Stoic practices: remembering mortality. Section 8. Memento Mori. Remembering mortality. What if the thought of your own mortality could inspire you to live a fuller, richer life? The Stoics believed that regularly reflecting on death was essential to truly appreciating life. Memento Mori means, remember you will die, and this concept is central to Stoicism. For Marcus Aurelius, it was a powerful reminder that life is short and precious. He wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This isn't meant to be morbid or depressing. In fact, it's the opposite. The Stoics used the awareness of death as a way to focus on what truly matters and to live with urgency and purpose. In our daily lives, it's easy to get caught up in trivial concerns, an argument with a friend, stress over work, or minor inconveniences. But when you remember that your time is finite, it puts everything into perspective. Suddenly, that argument seems far less important, and you realize how precious your relationships, passions, and personal growth really are. Memento Mori can also motivate us to take action. If you knew you only had a limited amount of time, Would you waste it on procrastination, grudges, or things that don't bring you joy? The Stoics encourage us to live as if each day could be our last, not in a hedonistic, reckless way, but with mindfulness and intention. A practical way to incorporate Memento Mori into your life is through daily reflection. At the end of each day, ask yourself, if I were to die today, would I be content with how I lived? This exercise can help you realign your priorities and focus on what truly matters, whether it's spending time with loved ones, pursuing meaningful work, or simply appreciating the beauty of the present moment. By embracing mortality, you can live more fully and fearlessly, making each moment count. Now that we've explored mortality, let's dive into the Stoic principle of Sympatheia, the interconnectedness of all things. Section 9, Sympatheia, the interconnectedness of all things. What if every action you take, every decision you make, was connected to something far greater than yourself? The Stoics believed that we are all part of a larger whole, and understanding this interconnectedness, or sympatheia, is essential for living a life of virtue and purpose. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on how individuals, societies, and the natural world are all deeply intertwined. He wrote, "All things are woven together, and the common bond is sacred, and scarcely one thing is alien to another. For they have been ordered together, and together they make up the universe." This philosophy of interconnectedness teaches us that our actions ripple out, influencing not just ourselves, but the entire web of life. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to feel isolated, like our problems, our goals, and our decisions exist in a vacuum. But Sympatheia reminds us that we are part of a collective whole. This concept can radically shift how we approach both personal challenges and societal issues. For instance, when you make a decision that benefits others, such as helping a co-worker, showing kindness to a stranger, or contributing to a community, you're not just impacting one person. You're creating a positive ripple effect that extends far beyond the immediate interaction. This understanding also fosters empathy. When you realize that the struggles of others are connected to your own well-being, it becomes easier to show compassion. Marcus Aurelius believed that living in harmony with others was key to a fulfilling life. In moments of frustration, whether it's with family, colleagues, or even strangers, it's helpful to remember that everyone is dealing with their own struggles, and we are all part of the same cosmic order. Sympatheia also connects back to other Stoic virtues, such as justice and courage. By understanding that your actions impact the greater whole, you are more likely to act justly, knowing that fairness benefits not only individuals, but society as a whole. Similarly, when facing adversity, knowing that your perseverance contributes to a larger purpose can give you the courage to keep going. A practical application of Sympatheia in modern life is in the context of environmental issues. If you recognize that your personal consumption habits, how much you waste, recycle, or conserve, are part of a global ecosystem, you may be more motivated to make choices that benefit the environment. Sympatheia encourages us to think beyond our own needs and desires, prompting us to act with consideration for the planet and future generations. This principle serves as a powerful reminder that we are never alone in our struggles or triumphs. Everything we do is connected, and the more we align our actions with this understanding, the more harmonious and purposeful our lives become. To sum up, Marcus Aurelius offers us 9 timeless lessons that can help us develop a rational mind. Train your perception, control your emotions, focus on what you can control, embody virtue, adopt a broader perspective, embrace change, cultivate self-discipline, remember mortality, and embrace the interconnectedness of all things. These lessons aren't just for philosophers or emperors, they're for anyone looking to live a more balanced, thoughtful, and fulfilling life. If you found value in these lessons, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more wisdom from ancient philosophers that can help you find clarity and success in modern life. Thank you for watching, and remember, you hold the power to shape your mind and your life. As Marcus Aurelius would say, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Let this be a reminder that whatever challenges you face, you have the tools to turn them into opportunities for growth. Stay wise, stay strong, and we'll see you in the next video.